I am so grateful to have with us my coach, my business coach, which is Coach Adrienne Turner from Turner Training and Coaching. Let's get right in. And I want you to know that this has been like quite a journey for me to get to this moment. It's taken an extensive amount of concentration and work to get to this point. And I'm kind of looking out and I'm going, well, you know, this is nice. I know it's going to get bigger, but I don't know how much bigger I want this to be, because I want it to really be an intimate setting where people can cry, they can share, they can be honest. Once you get too big, you can't do that. But I have to say, as I was in that process, I was so blessed to meet Adrienne Turner at an event. It was a black dress event.
Yeah.
So that was the event that you wore a black dress. You was a businesswoman and you wore a black dress and you was going to get network and get contacts. And I'm not sure how I got there. I think Nicole.
Okay.
Yeah, she invited me, and I just said, "Oh, let me go." And when I met you, again, when you set an intention, be prepared for it to come to pass. Because I was looking for someone to help me make sense of this concept, this business model, and you showed up.
And you showed up for me.
So we sat down and talked, and I told her I was sharing with her outside and a couple other people. Because of the way my mind works and a higher level that I think on, I have to be with people who either know more than I do or have open to know more, because whatever it is always going to be cross-pollination. So it has to be somebody that can handle what I'm putting out as well as what they're giving. And you fit the bill 100%. That's all I got to say.
Well, I'm glad.
And I couldn't wait to share with you. And I also want to say that she is Mrs. Berks County of Pennsylvania. She is the Mrs. Berks County. I don't know why she didn't wear her sash, but she's amazing. And I just wanted you to share a few words about yourself and just tell them a little bit, just a few sentences about what's going on right now.
So I spent over 20 years in corporate America. I worked at a pharma company called Merck & Company. I did everything from sales, marketing, operations, and I hit a point in my career where I was like, you know what? And I'm just going to be very transparent. I need to be out doing more than I am doing here. I need to be able to get beyond these walls and the 10 people I see every single day and get out there with the rest of the world. So I embarked on an entrepreneurial journey, and I will share that I have many different careers, many different faces. Dr. LaVerne just mentioned I'm Mrs. Berks County, Pennsylvania, America. I will compete for Mrs. Pennsylvania, America on May the 5th. How does that happen, right? So I'm so excited to be here. I hope that you can feel my energy. I want that what I have and what you have, that everyone have it. I'm just a girl that grew up in the city of Philadelphia, went to girls' high, and then, you know, and I dared to dream big. And that is what has helped me to gain the accomplishments that I have so far in my life.
Beautiful. And I'm telling you, she's a powerhouse. That's all I got to say. She's everywhere doing everything. And I'm like, I watch her life on Facebook and I hyperventilate. I thought I was doing something, but man, you know, and I think what it is, and this is an excellent segue, is that you take advantage of opportunities.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I believe that you have to make yourself open and aware, but that really starts with, again, as we started with the very first session, is knowing who you are. And once you know who you are, that just makes you have an amazing freedom, a freedom to try new things, a freedom to get to know more and different people, a freedom to take more risk. And so that is so important. And I'm just not afraid to fail. Because guess what? I have failed a lot.
Yeah.
And every time I failed, and you will learn that through all kinds of literature, it is that you gain something from it, you grow from it, and you fail forward. Every single person from Oprah Winfrey to Mark Cuban to whatever entrepreneur, billionaire you want to think about, they have all failed their way to success.
Beautiful.
Right.
I love that. And I think for me, failure is always a lesson.
Yes.
I always look for the lesson in what I deem as a failure. What other people may deem as a failure, I see as an asset. So even as it relates to professional and for business, it's always something I can learn from.
Yes.
Well, we won't do it that way anymore, or I might need to shift in this area, and then I'm not stopping from the failure. I'm growing from the failure. I'm not roadblocked by it. I'm able to move forward.
One of my favorite quotes is, if you're not making mistakes, you're not working hard enough.
Wow. Because you're gonna make mistakes.
That's
And I
right.
think again that goes to that, knowing yourself, being transparent enough to understand. I think the word I want to use here, the operative word, is mature enough
Yes.
to understand that you have faults and frailties and you will make mistakes. It's what you do with them
Yes.
that matters. I'm gonna fail. I'm gonna mess up. I'm not gonna get it all right at this one time. But if I grow from each and every failure, then I can actually arrive at where I really want to be.
That's right. So when you're failing forward, that is because you have already outlined or identified a plan. So even though you are failing, you are still failing in your purpose towards your destiny. And so that's why it's very important to first know who you are so that you can then understand what you need in order to start moving towards accomplishing your goals. And that's all outlined when you plan. The biggest thing that you've been saying this entire conference is the importance of planning. I do this session on goal setting, and I'm going to tell you this is even with executives of very large organizations. We talk about the importance of setting goals because people just live their lives every day without having a true destination. 80% of people do not set goals. And then of the 20% that do, 70% of those individuals fail. Why? Because they're not writing them down, number one. And then they're not getting an accountability partner. As you said, when someone knows that they're going to have a session with you, they start working on that. She's going to ask me a question. So that increases your opportunities for achievement. So it's so important that even though you have these different things that you want to accomplish, that you plan for your success, that you be intentional.
Be intentional. What came to me as you was talking, and this is something you may have to really grapple with. Failure is part of the plan.
Yes.
Yes.
It's just plain old part of the plan. And I'll take it all the way back to when you were born and you started walking. You fell a lot, but you didn't stop walking just because you fell in the process.
That's right.
So, I see failure, and I think the operative word, or what really, you said was really important, is that you weren't afraid to fail.
Right.
Wasn't afraid. When you're not afraid to fail, it takes away the angst and the anxiety from it. So now, worst case scenario is that I would be in this room talking to the cameras. But guess what? I could put the cameras, I could take the video and put them online somewhere.
Right.
So I still, some way or another, I always try to manufacture a success out of a failure because it is part of the plan. I don't know why that's really important for me to just really stress. It's a part of the plan. Go ahead.
And I would add to that, with my clients, we go through this exercise because part of moving forward involves you getting rid of some blocks, those limiting beliefs. So we do what's called a fear exercise. So you think about the thing that you want to accomplish, and then you think about what are the barriers, the obstacles, or what's the worst thing that can happen.
I like
So
that.
when I decided to transition from corporate America, I was making big bucks, folks. like $12,000-$13,000 a month. And I said, you know what? There's greater for me to accomplish. So I had to sit down and do that fear exercise. What's the worst thing that could happen? The worst thing could happen is that I could fail, and I just am not successful with the business. Another worst thing that could happen is that I don't get the support I need. So I just kept going down the list. But then I said, but what can I do if those things happen? Well, I'm still very smart, beautiful, and marketable. I can find me another job. You have to look at what could be possibilities. So then that gets all of that off the table. It's not swirling in my head constantly that, I'm going to fail, because I kept saying, well, Adrian, if this doesn't work out, girl, you can find you another job.
Right.
So it wasn't a something that hindered me from moving
It
forward.
wasn't the end of the world.
Yeah.
Failing
Right,
is
you won't
not.
die.
You won't die. Failing. This is
breathing.
the self-talk.
Yes.
Failure is not the end of the world.
Absolutely.
Everything is not going to be over because I failed. And we have to be careful not to allow other people to tell us that.
Thank you. Right.
And then keep in mind that you may have failed at an act, but you are not a failure.
Beautiful.
So that's something to keep in mind. Oh, we didn't.
Yeah, that's all right.
Seat at the table. I didn't even.
We're going there. We're getting there. So let's talk about, when you actually are ready now to launch out and do something professionally or entrepreneurially even. What's some strategies that we can actually use to get a seat at the table, past our dreams, past our concept, if you will?
Yes. So I will share that to get a seat at the table, first of all, you can either design the table
Thank you.
through entrepreneurship, right? Or you can build your brand in such a way that you don't always have to look for opportunities. They will find you.
Absolutely.
And that is one of the ways that individuals have been incredibly successful at achieving the things that they desire. That is because you have to build the market and the message around what your package is, what you have to offer to others. What are your strengths? How can you serve them? So building your brand is key to your success. It is key to all the success I've enjoyed, whether I was in corporate America and now as an entrepreneur. You have to know what are your strengths. So I will say this, for myself in corporate America, guess what my strengths were? I was fun to work with, I was inspiring, and people called me smart. So people wanted me on their team for one of those three reasons. It doesn't have to be anything grandiose or super fabulous, but you go around inspiring other people, people are going to want to work with you.
Absolutely.
They're going to want you on their projects. When there's something special going on, they're going to recognize you. So you see how you don't have to be rebuilding the widgets. It's just that you have to be who you truly are. And I learned the impact of me being inspiring to my teammates and to my colleagues from an executive vice president. So I would come in every morning towards the end of my career when I knew I was trying to exit out but couldn't figure it all out. And I started writing inspirational messages on the board. And one day, I just didn't do it. I don't know if I was rushing or whatever. An executive vice president walked by and he said, Adrian, you don't have your inspiration on the board. I didn't even know people were purposely walking by my office every day to read what I had up. So, we have many different ways that we can impact others. And we're impacting people all the time and don't even know it. Own that power. Right? Because then that'll make you more available and provide greater opportunities for you.
Absolutely. We're talking about opportunities now. We're talking about getting a seat at the table.
Yes.
And making sure that it's the right table. So you can't understand what the right table is until you understand who you are.
That's right.
Going back to the beginning, understand who you are, what you're here to bring, what is your purpose, what goals do you have, and what purpose you have, and what goals you have to help other people.
Yes.
And I think I wanna say, and I think it has a lot to do with what you just said. If your purpose is only to serve yourself, then you won't get very far. But if your purpose is to serve others, and how you can greatly and you know, radiate that out into more and more people, that's how much bigger and better you're going to be, and that's how many more doors are going to open to you. And what happens is, and this is what I'm the president of the National Association for Women, which is also now the International Association of Women, which she was the former vice president. This is the incoming vice president. I'm the president. We're all up in the house. But I try to help them understand, you know, I bring a lot of professional development opportunities to women and speakers and things like that. And one of the things I'm finding as I'm talking to women, and that's sort of my niche, I guess, is that we are so ultra focused on what we bring and what we want people to do. How we want people to find out about our business or what our need or whatever it is. And I want to say that is completely the wrong approach. Because what you really want to do, and tell me what you think about this, is you want to find out how you can serve people. How can I help you? So you telling me about your cosmetic line is not, and I'm not even interested. And you spent 15 minutes telling me about your cosmetics line, and I have allergies.
Right.
So it's got to be the right table.
Right.
You got to be able to be ready to get a seat at the right table. And I venture to say that if you are prepared and if you really are at the top of your game and doing what you're supposed to do, the door will open for you.
Yes. And then I add, you don't have to have all the pieces together. Another one of my most inspirational quotes is, you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. So when I decided to venture into entrepreneurship, okay, there was few funds in the account. Now I had savings because hubby was not going to just let me quit and have us go on welfare the next week. Okay? But in terms of what I had for investing in my business, I had very few resources. I didn't have a network. I did not have all the connections. But what I did have was a drive. I was like, I am going to make this happen no matter what. And so I put together a strategy. How can I be successful in building this business? Well, one of the things I need to do is to get more recognition to build my influence as an industry leader. That's why I looked for an organization to be a board member, and that was the National Association of Professional Women. What's another thing that I can do? Well, one of the things that I love to do is teach and train. That started out with, I just like to talk. And so what could I do with that? Well, I am also an adjunct faculty member at Alvernia University. I teach economics and marketing. That economics, I had never used that in a day of my life until I saw that job posting. I needed an economics tutor to start. But I was like, I can do this.
I love it.
But it goes back to having that growth mindset. I shared with Michelle. She saw my notes. As I was driving up here, I was listening to Carol Dweck's podcast on the growth mindset. I showed it to her. She saw my text that I sent to myself at 8:30 this morning. That's about having the ability to develop. And that's what you gotta have in order to be successful. You have to see opportunity within obstacles.
Yes.
You really have to look at things differently in terms of how you can benefit from them, even in the worst of situations. And then invest as little as possible while you're doing it. Because we are a limited resource. We just heard all of that today. That's why we can break down mentally and spiritually and physically, because we are a limited resource. So I'm always looking for the free 99 and the least, the things that I can do that take up the least bit of my energy. So that if that means a social marketing tool, where I can schedule things.
Yes.
And not have to be on Instagram and Facebook and all day.
Absolutely.
So I know I'm kind of transition, but I'm just sharing. In everything you do, I try to implement the principles that can make me be the best me so that I can serve in the best way.
Beautiful. And so, all right, that's it.